It's a play about a young, hot superstar on the biggest team, sort of, that's supposed to sort of be the New York Yankees, or based on the New York Yankees, who's at the, the prime of his game. He's at the top of his game, and he decides to come out as gay, and it's about the exploration of what led him to make that decision. I mean, the play's about a lot of things. It's about culture. It's about living your truth. It's about the price of living your truth.
I sort of approach this character the same way that the character approaches baseball. I don't know a lot about baseball. This character, a business manager, comes to fall in love with the game of baseball. And Richard Greenberg has written this character these sort of sweeping Shakespearean-like monologues. And the play, I also saw it originally at the Public Theater, and then when it transferred to Broadway, that's how much I loved it. But Dennis O'Hare ended up winning a Tony Award for this play, for this role, and he is so deeply engraved in my memory, and that performance is so deeply engraved in my memory, and he was just absolutely brilliant in it. And so I came to this opportunity with so much respect for the play and the text, but also with a huge amount of fear. It's been an honor to work on the beautiful speeches that Richard has written. I mean, they're really spectacular.
I grew up playing baseball, huge part of my life, year round, and as an athlete and somebody who pays attention to some degree to social justice and pop culture, all of that gets soaked into it. I'm certainly not modeling it off of any personality. I do have some players in mind in terms of their mannerism, their stardom, the way they handle themselves on and off the field, the degree to which they are media trained, and the difference between when you're in street clothes and when you're in uniform, how to conduct yourself, the pressures of that being in the biggest major city, the biggest major American city on the biggest team. So kind of the spiritual physicality of occupying that space, yes, but not a specific player or person's walk. And part of that is there are no major stars that are out in the big three sports.
Right.
Zero. So that says everything you need to know about its timeliness and usefulness as an exploration. But that's been something that is been an ongoing discovery through rehearsal. This is my first time doing a major play or Broadway, so I've been discovering amazing things each and every day.
I would say I was probably the least educated in terms of how baseball works, and I'm not a huge baseball fan. I've been to baseball games, had a great time, but I don't follow it religiously, so I had a lot of questions about what my character could be, who was a shortstop, how he would stand, how he would catch a ball. And all of this was before we knew what any of the movement of the play was going to be. It was really just to build up a vocabulary, so that the moment when we got into rehearsal and Scott might say, we're going to do some baseball, something here, we'd have something to draw from.
Yeah, I mean, my main focus, and I said to Second Stage early on, I wanted them to go to baseball camp, so to speak. For me, I needed them to form a team. They had to start playing and reacting as a team before they really knew each other as actors. But I wanted them to feel there was a team, that you had to walk back into a room with that understanding, and that happens. They're getting to know each other. You're not having to perform, and so it was important to me that they got that experience before we actually got anything on its feet, and that took us a while anyway.
Yeah, it was really the best way I've ever started the process of working on a play, and that we got to avoid the text, which we were all excited to get into and do, but we avoided it completely for 4 days and just got to know each other and build a shorthand with each other. So by the time we got to the next stage, when we sat down at a table to read it through again, the difference between, the table read day one, which we did, for the whole theater company, and the table read after that work was immediate. Suddenly we had a shorthand. We could play with each other. We could mess around. We could make mistakes. We could move around the room. We started moving around naturally. So we could just really hit the ground running without any of those, start and stops.
I think this time has forced people to be creative with how they're putting their art out. So I'm hoping that there will be a renaissance after we come back, and our great living playwrights will have used this time to like come up with some brilliant ideas. For me personally, I think about the first time I saw a Broadway show, which was Falsettos back in like 1993. And I just remember the feeling I had sitting in that theater. I was just so excited to be in that space. And I feel like having been someone who goes to theater so much now and has been on stage, like I think there's a piece of me that has become jaded a little bit, and the magic of seeing something and being in a space with other people watching actors perform live has been numbed a little bit. And I know that when I sit in a Broadway theater, when this is all done, I'm gonna feel like that kid who is watching Falsettos, and it's gonna feel, I'm gonna be reignited. So that's my silver lining with where we are right now, is because I think that it's something that I've taken for granted, live theater, and it's something that I'm so excited to go back to. So yeah, that's what I hope for.
I don't know. There's just so much unknown at the other side of this. I know for certain that theater will survive. I can't wait to get back in a room with these actors and continue working on this play and to embrace theater. And I know it'll be emotional because we've been away from it, and we've been away from art and trying to figure this whole time out right now. So I'm cautiously very optimistic that, knowing it will be different, who knows for how long, but it will come back, and we'll keep telling stories.